Hey guys, Dirt here. Welcome to another live stream review. And today we're going to be taking a look at this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles WWE Ninja Superstars mashup figure. Now, it's kind of funny. If you've been watching our live streams for a while, then you know that we've actually attempted to review this a couple times in the past. And we've been plagued by either audio problems or we got hit by copyright infringement. I don't remember. I think it was Nickelodeon because we had used Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the title or something, and it set them off. And we had a little clip of the intro on there, and so they claimed copyright on it. And all these weird, bizarre things are going on. But today, we are finally just breaking it down. We're doing it as a live stream instead of a prepackaged video. We're doing it as part of one of these live streams that we've been doing more of that you guys seem to have been enjoying over the past few weeks. So let's turn around and take a look at who we have here. Now, we have Donatello as the Undertaker. And first of all, the first thing that I want to talk about that jumps out to me is the title belt. Now, this title belt up here in the corner, I thought it was a little awkward having that title belt in there because that is the old WCW Big Gold belt, which I felt was pretty unusual to find in a standard modern WWE related toy package. However, Undertaker was the A-list star for SmackDown for a couple years, and during that time period, it was after the invasion angle, and SmackDown used that as the World Championship. So Undertaker did actually wear that belt as the World Heavyweight Champion. So it's really cool that made sense to be in there, and I actually love that Big Gold belt. I wish they'd bring it back. It's better than any title WWE has had for a decade. All right, now looking on the back of the box, of course, some of the other figures we can see here. We've got Leonardo as John Cena, Raphael as Sting, Donatello as Undertaker, who we have, and Michelangelo as Macho Man Randy Savage. These are all characters that I love. I love the fact that these are the four. My one thing maybe is because all of these are more legacy characters. I kind of wish instead of John Cena, maybe it was a Hulk Hogan, but with the legal issues surrounding him the past couple of years, I can understand why they would not do that. Or even a Ric Flair. That would have been cool. But regardless, I love the pick of characters. They're all winners. My son is actually a huge John Cena fan. He wished this was the one we had gotten for the review. But nonetheless, glad we have them here. Good toys. All right, so you got your standard, window box packaging. You do have the hole in the top for light to shine through from above. So if you plan on displaying this in the box without taking it out, then you do have that option, and it works well because of that hole for additional light. So I actually kind of thought that one through. All right, so we're going to pop this open here and slide him out. And I guess, one thing I do want to point out here, Ninja Turtles with their 90s vibe that they always have. This is the background of the box, kind of a very 90s radical neon colored backdrop. This would be great for taking pictures. If you actually have the old Turtles and you want to take pictures of them, share them on Twitter or whatever, that would actually be a great backdrop. And that's something some people don't always think about on these, but I thought that was really cool that they use that kind of flashback coloring on it. All right, there's our belt. There's an accessory, and we'll get him out of the plastic. All right. And it's funny because I've reboxed him because we tried doing this review in the past, and it was still tough to pop out. They used some really strong plastic on that. All right, head back into the photo tent. Here's our figure. One of the first things that stands out to me with this guy is that he is beefy. He is big and strong. I'm going to move the camera up and get a little closer here so we can get a better look at him. He is a beefy, thick character, especially if you look at the feet. The feet are huge, and that's probably standard with the Turtles figures, but it does stand out a little more from, say, a He-Man figure, which is in basically that same scale. In fact, I'm going to grab a guy here. I'm going to grab a Galaxor figure from Ben Spencer, set side by side here, and you can see that they're they're very close in size. It's very much in that 5.5 Masters of the Universe style, a little bit taller, which would be fine with using them, though, in that 5.5, especially Undertaker is a taller figure. That would make sense. But also the Turtles being the mutants, whatever fits in line with those size figures. So I do like the scale and size of those as the 5.5s. Now, taking a look at the Undertaker figure itself, one of the weird things is his goatee. Now, Undertaker has an actual goatee. And in fact, if we slide the box back in here, if I can do it without knocking everything over, you can see, nope, I knocked everything over. Hey, guys. All right. You can see on the box that Undertaker has a full goatee. It comes over his top lip and goes down under his chin. That is a full goatee. But what they gave Donatello here on the toy is actually a Van Dyke. The Van Dyke is just the hair going from the lips down underneath the chin. Okay, maybe we don't really need a lesson on all the ins and outs of facial hair, but it is worth recognizing the fact that it is wrong, and that's a little weird. The fact that they didn't actually go for the full look, and I don't know why. I don't know if maybe that's supposed to be painted over the mouth and just the application was somehow done wrong, what the deal was with that. But yeah, that is a little funky that he just has that Van Dyke. Now, because he's the Undertaker, they gave him the scythe, like what the Angel of Death would have, even though has the Undertaker ever come out with one of those? I'm not aware of it. So it is an awkward thing to give him. I mean, I guess it fits the general gimmick of the Undertaker, but it would have made more sense to have him packaged with an urn, although I can understand this being a kid's toy. They might not want to, like, hey, here's a dead guy in an urn for your toy to come with, kids. So let's have fun and play with that. But still, nonetheless, it does make it a little funky. And one thing I've noticed is that if you look at this, you can see there's a dot right here in the middle. And what that dot is actually the paint rubbing off. You can see another little dot here on this side. I'd hold it up real close to the camera, but the camera can't focus on it. But those little dots show that the paint is actually rubbing off, and underneath it's the silver color. So they molded this whole thing in silver that you can see at the top to get that nice metallic cover at the top. But then they painted the wood part on there, and it rubs off with use. So the more you use it, the more that's going to rub off, and the more you're going to have a used up accessory. And you probably can't see it on the camera, but if you look at his hand, there's actually little pieces of that wood colored paint that have rubbed off on the inside of his hand. So that is something to be careful for. If you're keeping this as a collector, you just want to mind that. Be a little more careful when you're playing with this, adjusting it, whatever, because it will rub off. Of course, if you're a kid, you're buying this to play with, you probably don't care at all. Another accessory that he comes with here is this shovel. Shovel says Ninja Power with a little bit of green slime on it, mutagen ooze. It's a little weird that he comes with a shovel because the shovel would signify his buried alive matches. So for little kids, oh yeah, Undertaker would dig a hole by the ring and they would do these buried alive matches versus like Batista or Kane or whoever it was, Brock Lesnar. And then the idea was you would throw the guy in the hole and you'd use the shovel to fill it back in with dirt, bury them alive, and they'd be dead. Which of course never stuck because it's WWE, it's not real, but nonetheless, coming with a shovel, that's a little awkward. And then, of course, our championship belt. Now, the belt is just a flat piece of plastic here, and it has stickers on it. So the stickers are there for the actual belt. But I love this accessory. The fact that this accessory comes in the box is so awesome. And, going back to that 5.5 scale, I'm going to grab here a Lucha Shark. And the Lucha Shark is in that same 5.5 scale. They're a little bit bigger than the standard He-Man, so it's the perfect size to be fighting with Donatello here, Undertaker. But you can see the belt will also fit on him, and you can give him the championship belt to play with. And it actually looks pretty good on the Lucha Shark. So that is something to keep in mind if you collect the 5.5 figures, those Masters of the Universe vintage style figures and some of the knockoffs, the Realm of the Underworld and what have you, then they will fit with those toys as well. Now, let's get into the main figure here. We've got lots of articulation. We've got shoulders, we've got elbows, we've got legs, we've got knees, we've got the head. Plenty of stuff moving around, but the couple things stand out to me as not being as ideal. And the first one is the fact that this jacket is actually attached to the body. There's little bits of plastic. I don't think they're going to show up very well on camera, but right here and right over here, you can see that the plastic actually goes in between the front shell piece and the back shell piece where they snap together, holding that jacket in place. So this jacket is not removable. You cannot take it off the figure at all. And that's a little disappointing, a little awkward to not be able to take that off. And also the hair, because of the way the hair is sculpted and it comes down over the back, you can't really turn the head a whole lot without the hair getting in the way, and you have to kind of fight with it maybe to get it in the exact pose you want. Again, if you're just a collector, you're just setting it on your shelf to show off, not that big of a deal. But still, it is an issue to at least be known, nonetheless. I do like on the fact that the back of this jacket, they've sculpted the shell. So the shell that is actually underneath the jacket, this drapes over, and they show the texture of it underneath. And I think that's a really nice touch. It would have been so easy for them to just, bring it down, have it just kind of drape in the back and not worry about it. But the fact that they put that extra texture in there where you can see his ninjutsu belt here, and you can actually see some of the plates of the back shell on there, I think just adds a really nice touch and makes it have a nice overall look. Another thing to note is that this is, in fact, a new piece sculpted on the front here. They did not just paint black on top of the standard turtle shell chest piece and call it a day. They actually sculpted fabric on there, so you can see fabric lines. You can see little bits of the texture of the fabric coming down. And obviously, with the gloves on here, they've sculpted around the wrist, and they actually sculpted the finger holes on there, so it's not just painted black on top of the hands and arm. So they did put extra detail into this. There is a lot of extra work that went in. This is not just a quick pop a new head on it and paint it and call it a day. They actually put a fair amount of work into it. They also, if you look at the face, you can see that they put more texture around the eyes. He has a bit of a scowl to him. His brow is furrowed. So you can see that he's got that Undertaker kind of intense stare type thing going on, which is actually a good look. I like that look quite a bit. But again, with the facial hair, being messed up the way it is, that is kind of funky. It's a little awkward. It's not ideal, which is a shame because so much of this character, this figure is put together well. But the fact that they would miss that detail on the face, I don't know if maybe because the turtle face is so smooth and so featureless, it makes it kind of difficult to pick like what point is the nose. And so maybe sculpting a little piece of hair over the lip, you have that over the lip, and then you try to put the mouth in there, and it probably made it look like there was a weird mouth thing going on. So they just had to, shorten it down a little bit so it looked less funky. That very well could be what the reasoning is behind that. But, just the tiniest bit of disappointment over the fact that that's not, as detailed as it probably should be. Now, overall, if we look at the overall scope of the figure, it's definitely one that if you're a collector, if you love the Undertaker, or you love the turtles and you want to have an extra one to go on your shelf to just show off, to be like, hey, look at this cool thing that I got, especially something at work, maybe put on your cubicle or something goes on your shelf, then yeah, this is definitely one worth picking up. I think these figures are a great idea of having these sort of mashups. Maybe they can do some more in the future. I don't know, a Splinter and Mr. Fuji might work. They could do maybe Shredder and Kevin Nash, because if you know Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, you know there's some history there. There are some things that they could do in another wave of them, or even Turtles as more WWE heroes. They could do, Raphael as Hulk Hogan, and Donatello with the purple would be, I don't know, who's the guy with a lot of purple? Lasertron, I don't know. But regardless, I think it's a neat idea, and I think that overall the figure looks nice, and it's a fun thing, and it's one of those things that you put on your shelf. And you say to your friends, hey, look what I got. And they're going to be like, oh, yeah, that's awesome. Some of these smaller things with like the paint rubbing off the accessories, the jacket not being able to come off, those are more issues that are going to deal with people who are buying this for your kids. If you have a kid who's really into it and they want to play it, it will get kind of torn up pretty quickly. So if you bought one, say, for your kid for Christmas and there's already paint rubbing off of it, that's happening because of the way it's made. Don't get too mad at your kid for destroying the toy very quickly. But you do have, again, lots of articulation. There are plenty of poses that you can put them in. The jacket does kind of get in the way of being able to move the arm as much as you might want to. But like this side moves up a lot higher because of the way it's cut. This side, not so much. Because of the way that jacket hangs down over the shoulder. So depending on how you want to display it, what you want to put in his hands, how you're going to have him, it might make a difference. You might have to do a little bit of sculpting on your own, get an X-Acto knife, cut some of the holes a little bigger, or cut the jacket off, or do whatever. But again, overall, as a collector, I think it's a neat toy. It's a lot of fun. It's something that kids are going to enjoy. It's something that adults can enjoy. You want to get one for work and show it off to all your friends to show how much you love Turtles, you love wrestling. Depending on where you work, that might be a liability. But nonetheless, I think it's a great thing. It's a lot of fun. So thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to go to popculturenetwork.com. Check out all the other toy reviews, comic reviews, podcast shows that we have over there. You can always find us on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, here on YouTube, wherever you want to find us, we'll be there. And if we're not, send us an invite and we'll join. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.